I don't really get very good service through here, but we'll see. We'll see if the video drops or not. I was just talking about how so little in this realm, in this 3D world that, you know, that most of us have lived in, or are still partially still living in. I don't feel like I live in it at all anymore. I see it every day, but it's not really where I live. I'm in a completely different space in my mind and in my heart. But there's so much about it that makes no sense at all. None. It makes no sense. There's so much about it. The monetary system, monetary economics, the political system, names, anything really, name anything, doesn't really make sense. It's just that the collective unconscious is so used to just agreeing to it rather than actually questioning, like, what is that, and why are we doing that, and why do we go along with that? I like, for instance, voting, like politics is a big one, because a lot of people get stuck on it. A lot of people get stuck there, and they don't really question why they vote, or what that means, or if it actually is even a useful thing to do, as well as expending huge amounts of energy, both through monetary energy, as in money, which is life force, as well as expending physical energy, emotional energy, to a system that does not have their best interests in mind, that doesn't care about anything except serving the same masters that the other side of the aisle serves. It's truly an Ouroboros, the snake eating its own tail. It just goes around and around and around. It never goes anywhere. There's never any change. I don't know if anybody ever noticed that. You look back to, things that happened in the 60s, with civil rights and all this kind of stuff, feminism and all these different things that were supposed to change the world. Nothing changed. Things, in fact, actually just got worse. The spotlight of attention was actually misdirected from the things that really needed attention and pushed over here, and it's gotten us where we are today. And when people line up to vote, like, I used to go to vote, for instance. I don't want to talk about anybody else, because I know it makes people feel like I'm pointing a finger at them, and that's genuinely not what I'm doing. But when I used to go vote, I used to feel like I had the civic duty to go do that, right? And I understand politics very well, and why people participate in it, and so on and so forth. And civic duty, I understand civic duty very clearly. I used to be very active especially in local government, and in directly affecting the local politicians who obviously directly affect policies on a local level here in my hometown. Like, in other words, grassroots type stuff. And for about 10 years I did this. And I voted, and everything else surrounding that politic, civic duty kind of nonsensical thinking. Now, I'm not saying that the people who participate in it are nonsensical. What I'm saying is the system is nonsensical. Therefore, it makes our actions surrounding that system nonsensical. The motivations for why people do things is totally correct. They care about their community. They care about one another. They care about their neighbors. They care about local businesses, etc., etc. And those are the right motivations. That's true. That's 100% true. Those are the right motivations. However, the system that is set up surrounding how to affect those different agencies and different institutions, it's complete silliness. Think about it. Like, we go and vote every 4 years for a president. Nothing ever changes. The change that does go on is so minimal and so minimal and so spotty, and nobody's worth their word. Nobody in the political system. I don't care who it is. I genuinely don't care. And it's not about that person per se, but it's about their ability to move freely and with integrity and honor within that system. You just can't. It doesn't work that way. It just simply doesn't work that way. It wasn't set up to work that way. Now, I wouldn't throw the baby out with the bathwater, because our United States Constitution has a lot of very important and powerful points in it. It does start with we the people, not we the politicians. However, as citizens of this country, we have abdicated our responsibility and stepped aside on accountability. We vote for somebody, and then when they don't do what they said they were going to do, which is like more than 9 out of 10 times they don't do what they said they were going to do, we don't hold them accountable. My dog's been farting all day, so just so you know, it's not me. But I'm not blaming it on her either. If it was me, I would just say, whoops, pardon me. Anyhow, and when we do that consistently, and we don't stand behind what we say, why should any kind of politics or politician do what they say they're going to do? This is a huge part of the issue. We have people that go every 4 years and they vote, and everybody gets all riled up and emotional and, about this issue and that issue, and people yell and scream about abortion and yell and scream about, affirmative action. I'm trying to think of like some of the things that were a big deal. Religious protecting religious rights and all kinds of stuff. When it's like, if people would just do what they said they were going to do, it really wouldn't be an issue. However, we're still standing in the rain and complaining that we're wet. That's what I see. So, I think the last time I voted, I can't honestly, I think it was, I don't even remember who I voted. Oh, I think the last time I voted was it was Elizabeth Warren, and I don't remember who her opponent was. And I read I'm one of those people that has always read the legislation. I don't just vote because of what I was told or what I heard. I would actually read the legislation myself. And again, since I turned 18, I had voted reliably, consistently, in not just every, I don't think I voted in every presidential election, but midterms, and also did my best to keep up on different props and different legislation that was being passed in my local area. And even if I didn't vote, because there were a couple times I didn't vote, just due to other circumstances in my life. Girl, your little poots are super cute. I did keep myself informed about what was going on in my area, and I was also, usually when I didn't vote, it was because I was involved in other local government affairs that kind of took me away from the larger picture of presidential elections. And we line up every 4 years when we vote, and then nothing changes, and we just complain about it. And people say, well, if you don't vote, you can't complain. And I beg to differ with that opinion. If you vote and nothing changes, I don't think you should complain at all. I think you should just shut up, because you're voting for the same system that didn't do anything last time, or the time before that, didn't do anything for your parents, didn't do anything for your grandparents, didn't do anything for your great-grandparents. So yeah, I think that that's actually backwards. If you're still voting, you should shut your mouth, because you're still voting for the same bullshit system that everybody knows is bullshit. Inherently, we all know on a fundamental level that these systems do not have our best interest in mind. They don't care about our children. I don't care what they say. Saying and doing are two very different things. And what we see versus what we hear from them are completely opposite. It's a completely 180-degree difference. So if you're not voting and you have lost faith in that system, and rather than complain about it, because complaining is really irrelevant, it doesn't help anything, that you just disengage, because non-compliance is the most powerful tool that any group, any individual or group of individuals can use in order to affect the system. When you disengage from the consumer lifestyle and you stop buying shit you don't need, it's a non-compliance. We don't need a whole bunch of anarchy and pull down the system. And I mean, anarchy is not necessarily a bad thing. People think that anarchists are all about having no order at all. No. Anarchists are about disengaging from the order that is actually chaos in disguise. Oh, confirmation. To disengage from those systems and stop complying in the bullshit is the most powerful weapon you have. It's the most powerful way to affect change. We don't need to go out there and be activists. I've done all of that. Did it ever change anything? Nope, not at all. Not at all. It got me all riled up. It got people around me all riled up. But at the end of the day, was any change affected? Not any. So, when I was on the radio for 10 years doing a lot of conspiracy theory type stuff, I went down every rabbit hole, basically, known to man or woman. And after deep diving in every single one of them and talking endlessly about it, what I realized was, the most powerful weapon I had was to not be non-compliant. It's the most powerful form of defiance that any of us has. Like I said, both on an individual level as well as on a group level. When you stop complying with systems that don't have your best interests in mind, that don't care about your hard work, they don't care about your future, they don't care. And if you cannot see that, I don't know what else to say. It seems that, you more than likely are kind of like pulling an ostrich situation with your head in the sand. And I get that. I empathize with that, because I didn't always want to face what was right in front of me either. There are a lot of things that are extremely frustrating. And the only way to really empower yourself and disengage from it is to just not comply. Don't comply, period. It's really that simple. Stop voting. Stop complaining. Stop engaging in political conversations. Unfollow all the people. I mean, I don't use Facebook, but I know a lot of people do. Stop following all of the political garbage on Facebook or wherever, YouTube, or, stop watching television. Just stop doing it. That is one of the most powerful weapons you have, is to just disengage. Stop showing up for it. If you don't want to involve yourself in gossip and drama and all this, stop listening to it. Because when you stop feeding it into your attention, into your mind, your energy is the greatest form of currency. Thank you. The greatest form of currency you could ever have is your energy, your attention. And you've got 10 billion things competing for your attention all the time, in any given moment of every day. when you're feeding your attention to things that simply do not return any peace, profit, prosperity, clarity, or joy, you've got to, like, if you're really an accountable, responsible adult, you've got to start questioning yourself, like, why am I paying attention to that then? I mean, it's a legitimate question to ask. If said thing, whether it's politics or maybe the education system, which is really not education, and all kinds of it, if it's not serving you, then why are you paying attention to it? Why are you giving it your energy? It doesn't matter what it is. Maybe it's a family member, maybe it's a friend, maybe it's a magazine, or some kind of blog that you watch on YouTube, or whatever it is. Whatever that thing is, stop paying attention to it. If it doesn't give you peace, joy, clarity, prosperity, or profit, why are you paying attention to it? I have had to be brutally honest with myself about a lot of things and ask myself, why was I continuing to give my energy to something that didn't only not give a shit about me? Because not giving a shit is fairly neutral energy, but it actually had harm. It had harmed me, and that's all it really did, was harm me. It didn't bring me any. It wasn't filling my cup. In other words, it was just taking from me. I genuinely had to ask myself, what am I doing then? Why am I giving this my attention? Why am I giving this my energy? It's a really simple equation. If you're not getting anything back, why do you keep giving output? If you're not getting any input, why? Then it's all just going out, and not coming in. And to be brutally honest with oneself is a difficult thing to do. I understand that. I empathize with that as well. It's not easy. I never said that it would be. I don't think anybody has ever said that it would be. But it is simple. Simple and easy are two very different things. Things that are simple are not always easy, and things that are easy are not always simple. I think too often we're looking for simple and we mistake it for easy and think it's the same thing, and it's just not. It just isn't. We go to these, to these voting, we go to vote, and we put in our vote, and we expect the system to work out, or expect something to change, which is literally the definition of insanity. We keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, and expecting a different outcome. It's just simply never going to happen. It's never going to work that way. Law of correspondence doesn't work that way. Like, we're talking about, like, universal laws. It goes against everything that we know as energetic law in this universe. But it's meant to. It's meant to not ever go anywhere. The powers that were, they know that. They know that keeping you locked into a voting system and locked into a bullshit political system that is never going to change is the only way that they will ever keep their power. Period. So they continuously do it. They continuously push the same buttons and continuously talk about the same issues that they talked about 4 years ago, and 4 years before that, and 4 years before that. And they'll be doing it far into the future if we continue to let them. But when we just disengage from the system, and simply by showing them, not talking about it, it's not really something that needs to be spoken about, but by showing through example that we are no longer engaged in the bullshit lies of this world, then we begin to affect change. But as long as we continue to remain plugged in to any kind of emotional investment, believing at all that our attention and energy spent yet again on the system that is so clearly broken is going to change anything, it keeps us in a cycle of disempowerment, and we, on a fundamental level, realize that we're acting like insane people, and so we feel powerless, and that keeps us all 8-9 billion of us on this planet all feeling like we're one single person when really we are not. We are collective. The illusion of separation is a powerful one. However, it's still an illusion. So, and that's just one example of, like politics. I don't call it politics. Obviously, it's politics because it's just a horse and pony show. It's all a lie. And when you start, looking at like the production, the production of news and excuse me, and confirmation, how they produce the news and how they rely upon ratings, kind of like movies rely upon reviews in order to stay popular, in order to stay relevant. It's preposterous. It's all preposterous, and it's right in your face. It's an in-your-face disguise, and it's meant to. It's organized, and it's designed to keep people feeling powerless, to keep reminding them of how useless their participation in it is. And when we keep getting reminded of that, we know that we're chasing our tail. But instead of disengaging from it, we continuously do it again and again and again and again, thinking we're going to affect change, and we never do. And this is what the collective unconscious, the insanity of the collective unconscious really is. I don't seek to badmouth or demoralize anyone. That's not at all. But I am here to explain the dynamics of what's going on behind it so that people can make more informed choices. Not to criticize, not to disempower, or Bella, please, baby. Or make anyone, try to make anyone feel stupid. I remember on the radio there was this big thing with everybody, all of my other co-hosts on the radio, that everybody called anyone who was unaware a sheeple. We called them sheep. I didn't engage in this practice. However, I was aware of it, and as much as I tried to set my will against it, I knew that it was like trying to stand in the middle of a tidal wave and hold my hand up. It just wasn't working. And I again and again brought attention to how disrespectful it is, and how it's another way of disempowering people by calling them sheeple and basically telling them that they're stupid. So that anybody, and when I realized though why I stood against this is because anybody who you might pick up who's new to the show, or new to the ideas, or maybe has just recently unplugged from the Matrix, starts feeling like they're not accepted, like they're part of the problem rather than part of the solution. And I know that when you're first disengaging from the system, when you're first unplugging from the Matrix and you're seeing things for what they really are, there's almost nothing worse than feeling like you are not accepted by the group of people who has been aware and has been pulling for people like yourself to wake up in the first place. It creates a further division and divisiveness amongst the people who were supposed to be the ones waking up. So, I genuinely don't mean any kind of disrespect, or like, oh, you're stupid and I know more than you do. I probably know more than you do. However, that doesn't make me better than you. It just makes me more aware. I don't place myself above or beneath anyone else. I just simply am where I am. I am where I am because of awareness. It has nothing to do with the value of me. But I know that a lot of that goes on, where people, people who are very aware, they look down their nose at others who are less aware, and kind of make them feel stupid. And that's just all that condescension, and it's useless. It's just another form of division, and that's what the whole fucking system that we're trying to disengage from is about in the first place. So, Bella, I love you so much, but You can't have all my attention 100% of the time, my love. I love you so much. So, I just wanted to address this because I know how frustrating it can be. I know that a lot of the leadership that has, come and gone, frankly, amongst the more aware groups of people tends to be like divisive in its, well, you're just not smart enough. Well, that's not true. They're just not as aware. And I think it's unfair, and I think it's, like I said, it's just another form of the bullshit division that goes on in politics and all the other systems that we're trying to educate people about in the first place. So if this goes over your head and you don't quite understand it, don't worry about it. There are a lot of other videos I have, especially recent ones. You will get it. If you're trying, if you're trying to understand and you're seeking, you will find the truth. Keep seeking. And always be open to learning, and always be open to learning that you don't know anything, because it happens to me still. As aware as I am, there are still things that I find out that I didn't completely understand. And so, just always remain open to learning, and don't be too hard on yourself. If you don't understand it, it goes over your head, keep listening. You'll get it. You'll get it. I have faith that you will, because I did, and many others before us, they understand it. They just, stuck with it and were patient. So, it'll work out. I trust that. I trust the process, because it's not just my process, it's everybody's process. But I genuinely hope this video finds you blessed. It's a beautiful day. Love, blessings, compassion to everyone. Take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. Peace be with you.